Okay, this is going to be a video on Algebra 1, Unit 4. This is going to be on graphing lines, okay? The big thing to understand about graphing a line is you need 2 points to graph a line, okay? Now, if you have something in y equals mx plus b form, okay? We talked about this in the last unit. This right here refers to the slope. This right here refers to the y-intercept. Now, what the y-intercept means is if this is the y-axis, this is where it crosses the y-axis, okay? So, to graph, what you want to do is graph, when it's in y equals form, is graph the y-intercept first, okay? All right, so my y-intercept here is -4. So that would be on the y-axis at -4. Then what you do is you use the slope, okay? Now, in the fraction, okay, if it's positive or negative, positive will tell you to go up, negative will tell you to go down. And in the interest of slope, we're always going to go right. We're going to account for the slope that way. So what this means is from this point, okay, so from the y-intercept, we want to use the slope. So since this is +3, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then the bottom number is 2, so 1, 2, okay? All right, very simple, all right? So 3 up, 2 right, okay? All right, we're going to do a bunch of examples here. All right, so let's look at this one. The y-intercept here would be +3, so 1, 2, and 3. When I look at the slope, the negative tells me 1 down, 5 right from the y-intercept. Okay, so 1 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right. Connect the dots, you got yourself a line. Okay? Now, what do you do when, all right, my y-intercept is 2. Okay, that's the y-intercept. Now, my slope is not in the fraction form, so how do I make a fraction? 4 over 1. So what does that mean? 4 up, 1 right from here, this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 right. Connect the dots. Okay? All right? This one, okay, my y-intercept would be -5. Okay, now, this, what number's in front here? -1. What would -1 be as a fraction? -1 over 1. So that means 1 down, 1 right from the y-intercept. 1 down, 1 right. Boom. Make my line. Okay? So what I would like you guys to do is pause your video and go ahead and graph these. Okay? Go ahead and unpause. All right? So what that would be is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. This would mean 5 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3 right. Connect the dots. Okay? What this is the y-intercept is -1. So this means 1 up, 4 right from that point. 1 up, 1, 2, 3, 4 right. Connect the dots. Okay? This y-intercept is -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? Now, this number here is 1, as a fraction would be 1 over 1. So from here, 1 up, 1 right. Connect the dots. Okay? This one, the y-intercept would be +3. Okay? This would be -5 over 1, which means 5 down, 1 right. We're always going right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 right. Boom. Connect the dots. Okay? All right, pretty simple stuff there. All right? Now, this is something called point-slope form, which we will talk about when we start to get into writing the equation. In the interest of graphing, all you have to do is this. Distribute that. 3 times x would be 3x. 3 times -1 would be -3. Then what I want to do is simply add the 2, and I'm going to add the 2 to this -3 over here. So that's y equals 3x, -3 plus 2 is -1. So now I'm back to the y equals. That's my y-intercept. Slope of 3 over 1 would mean 3 up, 1 right. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 1 right. Connect the dots. Okay? Let's look at this one. Okay? I would take the 1/2 and multiply. 1/2 times x is 1/2. Okay? 1/2 times 10. 1/2, I put parentheses around my fraction, times 10 would get this to be 5. So I got y plus 8. So then what I would do is I would subtract the 8 over. Okay, I can't subtract that from the x because those are unlike terms. So I got y equals 1/2 x. 5 minus 8 is -3. So my y-intercept is -3, 1, 2, and 3 on the y-axis. What does this mean? Up 1, 1, 2, connect the dots. Okay? So why don't you go ahead and pause your video, okay? Go ahead and pause your video and go ahead and graph these, okay? Go ahead and unpause. So here I would multiply, 2 times x would be 2x, 2 times 5 would be 10, okay? I would subtract the 7, y equals 2x, 10 minus 7 would be 3, okay? So my y-intercept is 1, 2, 3. Okay, what's my slope? That's 2 over 1 is a fraction, so 2 up, 1 right. So from the y-intercept, 1, 2, 1 right. Okay? This, I would take this negative 1/4 and multiply. That's negative 1/4 x. Negative 1/4. So negative 1 divided by 4 times 20 is -5. And then I would add 3 over to this side. So y equals negative 1/4 x. I got -5 plus 3, which is -2, okay? So my y-intercept is 2 down. Since it's negative 1/4, that's going to be 1 down, 4 right. 1 down, 1, 2, 3, 4 right. Boom, got my points, okay? Now, we're going to go ahead and move on to something here. As you notice, we have x and y on the same side. So this is for x and y on the same side. Here's how easy this is to graph. You take the x, set it equal to my number. I take the y, set it equal to my number. I'm just going to solve these individually. 2, so that's going to be divided by 2, be x equals 6. If I do this one, I divide by 4, it's y equals 3. So what this is this is the x-intercept, which means it's on the x-axis. This is the y-intercept, which would be on the y-axis. So an x equals 6 would be here. The y-axis would be 3. Very simple, connecting the dots. Okay? All right, let's look at this one. All right, x and y on the same side. 5x equals 15. Negative 3y equals 15. Divide by 5, I got x equals 3. Divide by -3, I got y equals -5. So on the x-axis, this is the x-intercept, that would be 3. And on the y-axis, that would be -5. And I would simply just connect my dots. Okay? So what I would like you guys to do is go ahead and pause your video, okay? And go ahead and graph these two. Okay? So what I'd have to do on this is 4x would equal 16. Negative 2y would equal 16. Divide by 4, I got x is 4. Divide by -2, I got y is -8. Okay? So I got an x-intercept of 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have a y-intercept of -8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? Boom. Just like that. Okay? This one, I would set 2x equal to 10. I would set 5y equal to 10. Very simply divide by 2, that'd be x is 5. Divide by 5, I got y is 2. So at 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then y is 2. Connect the dots. Okay, very easy. This is called standard form, but that's how easy those are to graph. Okay, let's go on to these last two. As you notice, all right, we solve things like this. Okay, all right, very simple. Here's how you handle that. If I, just like the last one, I got x is -4. Now the problem is I don't have a, so these are separate problems. Okay, the problem is I don't have a y coordinate. So what you have to do is you're going to look at whether it's a Hoy or a Vux problem. Okay, we did this last unit in slope. Okay, if it's a Hoy, it should be a y equals. If it is a Vux, it's an x equals. So Vux. Now remember, what this means is vertical, undefined. And so that's x equals. So what I'm going to do is just make a vertical line at x equals -4. This one I would plot at y is 6. Okay, is this a Hoy or a Vux? Well, this would be a Hoy. Well, what does the H stand for? Horizontal. Okay, and that's 0 slope. Y equals. So what I would do is just make a horizontal line through this. Okay? All right? So what I like you guys to do on your own, okay, is go ahead and graph these two questions. Okay? So this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'd put a dot there at 5. This is a Vux problem, so that means vertical line. Okay? This would be y is -2, dot on that. That's a Hoy problem, which stands for horizontal line. I didn't draw that very well. There you go. Okay? So that's pretty much graphing lines. All right? All that takes is a little bit of practice, and it's actually pretty easy.